Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
There's something beautiful about reading The Ancient Mariner out loud.
It's the Coleridge Absolute Weekender.
Samuel Taylor Coleridge, one of my favourites.
You might have been into the Walter de la Mare weekend we had.
Anyway, we're going to break up this talk about poetry to say that this is the Frank Skinner Absolute Radio podcast. I've been away for 3 weeks, and so has Gareth. But Emily has held the fort with guests.
I was cheating on you with Dave Gorman and Jimmy.
Yeah, well, that does not surprise me. So it was a cracking show this week. We had the Duckworth Lewis Method on, which I can't say, but which I do like, which is Neil Hannon's new band from the Divine Comedy, and they were very, very entertaining.
He was lovely.
No, well, they both were lovely. Him and Thomas Walsh.
Only because he asked you about your baby.
Yeah, no, he made a special effort to talk to me.
That's nice, isn't it? Because people don't often
people,
celebrities they don't want to talk to people like you, Gareth. I mean, I feel pretty good about the fact that I do. It's a joke. I love you both. So it's fantastic to be back, and they're going to love it, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I really liked today. I had a good time.
Good.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth.
Hi, Frank. You're back.
I am back.
Good morning.
It's true. Did I miss anything while I was away? Any big news stories?
It's a pretty slow news week this week.
Yes. So I think we can't begin without mentioning Michael Jackson has died. And yes, it was a terrible shock. I'm not going to pretend I was a massive fan of his music. I've got to be honest about that. But obviously I was very saddened to hear that he died. So that was... How did it affect you guys?
I was actually really sad.
You're more his generation, if you know what I mean.
What? You're suggesting I'm 50?
No, but
Thanks
I mean...
a lot, Frank.
To appreciate his music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I was a young kid, and so I was a big fan of his music, yeah.
Yes.
I cried. I actually cried.
I like to think that your plastic surgery was a dedication to a homage. What about you?
Yeah, I found it really moving, and I was surprised how moved I was. I mean, we talked about Elvis, didn't we? And how I think he is one of those people. Like I wasn't born when Elvis died, but I think he's one of those people that's so big. You wasn't
born when Elvis died? Oh my God! How old is it? I remember I was working in a factory in Smethwick when Elvis died. Oh,
I was outside Harrods when Elvis died.
Well, that does not surprise me. You're outside outside Harrods when everyone dies. Let's face it. Actually, usually you're inside Harrods. Anyway, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this who are big Michael Jackson fans. So I have. I've got to say, and I don't mean this disrespectful, as a comedian, he was an absolute gift. I've done a million jokes about Michael Jackson and about all the mad stuff, and I do like celebrities that are sort of wild and eccentric, and he was the best for that. So he was the king of that, certainly. And oh man, all the stuff about him changing colour and having Elephant Man's thing, it was so brilliant. And I don't think there's anyone who's that eccentric now that we'll have. He was a gift. So I bless his memory for that. Anyway, we pay homage to him, and if you are a big fan of his, you very much have our condolences. So I'm back. I've been away for 3 weeks, which is too long to be away from a radio show.
It feels like ages.
I had a terrible moment. I was on holiday, and my manager was actually in the studio today, phoned me up and said, just to let you know, Dave's doing brilliantly on the show. I was replaced by Dave Gorman while I was away. Well, I'm glad he did brilliantly, but I didn't want to hear about it on my holidays. I didn't want to hear about it at all.
I don't want to talk to you about Dave. Do you know why? Because I feel a bit like, you're like a boyfriend asking me about someone I had an affair with or something.
Yeah, I feel like John Le Mesurier after his wife went off with Tony Hancock and then returned. That's what I feel like. And I know John Le Mesurier, in case you don't know who he is, he was Sergeant Wilson from Dad's Army.
Is that how you say his name, Le Mesurier?
I believe so. What do you call him?
Le Mesurier.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you call him?
I would have called him John Le Mesurier.
Oh, let's call the whole thing Sergeant Wilson. Anyway, John the Measurer, is he someone from the Old Testament?
Well, I don't know. You have been watching
John the Measurer, who was in the Disciples, and he used to measure religious things. Yes, well, John Le Mesurier, I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to change
after
after all these years. His wife went off with Tony Hancock for a brief period of time. And then she
Tony
came
Hancock.
back. Exactly. And apparently, after she came back, she'd occasionally... You sometimes do this when you're with a partner. You say, oh, do you remember when we went to the theatre to see blah, blah, and they say, that wasn't me. And there's that really horrible moment, right? In fact, my girlfriend Kat says that to me all the time, often when it was her. And I'm sure it was her, but she puts doubt in my mind. But anyway... yeah, so when she referred to a Tony Hancock thing and said, oh, do you remember that time, blah, blah, he used to say, I believe that was during our interregnum, darling. Now, the interregnum, in case you don't know, was that period when there wasn't a monarch on the throne in England and Cromwell was in charge. It's a fabulous... So I'm seeing the last 3 weeks as my interregnum.
Are you comparing Dave Gorman to Cromwell?
I am, in many ways, yes. And myself, too. Who was it that came back after Cromwell? People are listening there thinking, I wish Dave Gorman would come back. We don't want to hear about all this. We don't even remember Dad's army, let alone Cromwell.
Absolute Radio.
Yes, so I was away. I was on holiday for 2 weeks in Greece with my bird. And then I did a thing for children in need. I went across Europe on land. And water, but we couldn't fly. Actually, there's an Albion chant. West Bromwich Albion have a football chant that goes, we will follow the Albion over land and sea and water. Which I've never quite understood.
Weird afterthought.
We had a long debate about it once and thought maybe they mean fresh water.
Yeah. Like rivers and streams.
Exactly.
And maybe a lake.
But anyway, we had to go across Europe for children in... the Children in Need are doing it around the world in 80 days, and it's 2 celebrities do a leg each.
But you can find anyone who'd want to go with you, could you?
No, that's true, but I went with Lee Mack, the comedian, who was...
What was he like? Was he nice?
He was thoroughly good company, I have to say. We had... it's great, because we were going through... Istanbul, the marvellous spice-filled streets of Istanbul, and talking about comedians we worked with in the 1990s. So it was lovely. But quite a lot of travelling. It's the first travelogue, which is basically just about travel. It's 2 men on a coach for 7 days. Because it's like a race. It's not one of these when you stop off and sample exotic tea in Bratislava. It's basically getting across as fast as you can to hand over to 2 people from The Apprentice so they can do the next leg. But it was for children in need, which of course makes all that hardship worthwhile. But the holiday, I have to say, I like the holiday, but I sometimes think, especially when I'm on holiday, that I wouldn't mind it if I never went on holiday again.
Why do you say that?
Well, I'm not sure I like them that much. I don't like them enough to put 2 weeks aside for them.
What don't you like about them?
I don't like being away much, which with holidays I find is a drawback. I'm all right with flying. I don't mind that. I don't like being unfamiliar. So the first,
I understand.
The first day and a half on holiday, I'm full of regret that I went away in the first place.
You see, I have you know what I hate about going on holiday? I'm phobic about creased clothes. So literally, honestly, no, I am frank. If I've gone out with a crease in my clothes, I've had to go back and iron it and be late. Right. So can you imagine what it's like for me having to go on holiday? And I know all my clothes. When I'm on the plane, I just imagine them all being all jumbled up in the case, and I get really stressed out. I know iron in every language. I
hope you never become homeless because your creased clothes problems are going to be... Well, they're going to be the least of your worries. Well, I'll tell you something else. I'm not very keen on other people speaking a language that I don't understand. And I mean that in a very let me think of the things that it's non. Well, I don't mean it... I mean, I'm all right with them, just... I ain't not been able to completely, fully communicate with people. Although I was sitting outside a bar in Istanbul and a bloke said, are you from England? And I said, yeah. He said, where? And I thought, you won't have heard of it, mate. I said, Birmingham. And he went, all right, mate. It's just kind of amazing. Absolutely amazing. But no, I have a problem with I just don't, I'm a communicator by trade. Are you a holiday man, Gareth?
People do holidays in different ways, don't they? What do you like? What do you do on holiday? Well, no, because some people like to just go and lay on a beach.
Well, you can't do that anymore because that does terrible things to your skin. So that's another big thing with going away. People used to go away just to get a tan, but now that's bad for you. Turns out.
Yeah, I think I think I don't do very much in my normal life.
No, well,
So when I
that's
go on
true.
holiday-
Your life is a holiday.
Yeah.
It's quite a dull holiday at the English seaside in winter. You actually live at the seaside, of course.
Yeah.
Gareth lives in Bournemouth, in case you don't know. So there's no point going on holiday if you live in Bournemouth. You are on holiday.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you something? We've got an email in, which rather oddly is about Jean Le Mesurier.
Oh, great. I'm glad he's been the theme of today. A lot of people thought Michael Jackson would be the main theme, but no, it's John Le Mesurier.
And Oliver Cromwell.
John Le Mesurier, do you mean?
No, someone's actually saying if you listen to any of the radio shows of Dad's Army, they always read out the cast names at the end and pronounce his name Le Mesurier.
They don't read out the cast.
On the
names at end,
radio,
do
they do.
Oh, on the radio.
Yeah, they says the radio shows. So I would just like to pounce on this opportunity to say that I was right about something.
Well, if I remember rightly, John Le Mesurier didn't do the radio shows. That was John Le Mesurier.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Gareth, congratulations.
Thank you.
In case you don't know, Gareth, his wife had a baby during the period of us being away.
Yeah.
And so yours was sort of paternity leave you've been
Yes.
away for.
I'm a dad now.
That's fantastic.
You
I'm a
look
father.
much older and more. I don't mean that horribly.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
You look more mature and
You look
responsible.
lovely, Emily.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm a father. I have an
To
heir.
me, you just look like a student who's knocked on my door and asked for tea bags.
Yeah.
You'll always be that to me. But it's great that you've got a baby. That's fabulous. And mother and baby are well.
Yeah, they're doing really good.
And it's a boy.
It's a boy. Ethan
Ethan.
is his name. Ethan
Oh, sorry.
is his name. Emily's
Emily's
can't
got this.
say Ethan.
No,
for
she's
some
got this
reason.
Grange Jill Rowland thing, so he has to call him Ethan. Ethan, which was like what was John Wayne's character name in The Searchers.
That's right, yeah. That's actually my dad's favourite film, The Searchers, so I do know that. But yeah, that's not directly what we named. We just like the name.
It's a pity, really, that you've said it was a film, because there'll be some 60s music enthusiast now Googling to see if John Wayne was in The Searchers. Did he sing Needles and Pins? God, the reference is coming in today. I will work my way up to the 21st century by the end of the show. So is it all right? Is it one of these things when you're not asleep? Because I have to say, I don't have children. Yes, I'm 52 and I don't have children. Stop staring at me. In fact, I was on my Children in Need trip, I met the Crown... I know this is your bit, Gareth, but bear with me.
Go with it.
And I've been away a long time. I need to talk about myself, because you see, the Turks, they just didn't understand me. I met the Crown Prince of Serbia.
What?
Yes, and we went to the not in a pub. I went to his palace. It's not no surprise that he was there. And his wife said to me, Princess Catherine, she said, "Do you have children?" And I said, "No, I don't have children." She said, "You know, IVF is very good nowadays." I thought, how dare you? Anyway, sorry, Gareth.
Yeah,
A little anecdote about the Serbian royal family there.
no, that's good. Yeah, so it's lovely. He's fantastic. He's excellent. I'm ever so pleased
Parents
with
will
him.
always say that. Have you got any original contribution to parenting?
I do think he is. I think he's the best baby I've come across.
So that's this week's phoning.
He's really very good.
Who is the best baby you've ever met? Well, I'm glad. It's important that you think that, because if you was a caveman, you'd need to think that in order to have the protective instinct.
They're quite exhausting, though, aren't they?
Cavemen, I find
No,
them. It's all that, they just eat
children.
meat, you see. If they had more fibre. Children. What do you don't have children either.
No, all right.
Gareth's the only normal one on the show, let's face it.
Don't go all Serbian royal family on me.
Okay, sorry.
No, I had to look after my niece for the weekend, and I discovered something. I adore my niece, Mimi. She's a friend of the show. She's 7.
Yes, we have had her on.
I think she's 8 now. Oh, dear, I'm in trouble. Yeah, she's 8. But basically, looking after a child for the weekend is like looking after a very high-maintenance celebrity. That's what I discovered.
And God knows you've had a few weekends like that in your time.
You have to drive them everywhere.
It's true, they don't drive. I've noticed that.
Everything they do, you have to go, "That's amazing."
Yes.
If they do a drawing or something, and it's not, but you still have to say it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And you have to eat the food they want to eat, watch the film Elf 3 times that they want to watch, and then they wake you up at 6 in the morning.
You're right, it is like being with a celebrity.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I like about this is you began this talk about your niece by saying, oh, God, I've said she's 7 and she's 8. That might upset her. I'm now going to really talk about how high maintenance and difficult she'll be fine with that.
But she's lovely and I adore her.
Yes, that's the disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't spot it.
Absolute Radio.
Did you see that Princess Diana's robber was sold this week, that she had when she was 9-year-old at school? It was sold for 540 quid, which I think's quite a bargain for Princess Diana. It's got D. Spencer written on it. You know the way you used to write your name on your rubber at school? And it also says on it, for big mistakes, it says on it, which I think she gifted it to Prince Charles at their first anniversary. But it's interesting that I've got a bit of celeb memorabilia. And
what have you got?
I've got a hair from Elvis's, now just hold your breath, horse. Right?
You haven't really?
Yes, I have. Elvis's horse, they sold the horse. After Elvis died, they sold a lot of his stuff. So they separated a horse. It's died, and then they sort of...
they shaved it.
They plucked it, I think. It has the root on it. I think I could grow... If I had DNA facilities and cloning at home, I could grow another horse exactly the same. So I've got a hair from... it's a mane hair, not a tail hair. I've got a mane hair from Elvis's horse.
I was worried about that, though, Frank. I mean, how do you actually know? Couldn't it just be anyone? Could
you know,
be
I
Kim
hate it when
Jong-il
people
or
say
something?
that, when you brag about your memorabilia, people say, how do you know? That, to me, brings the whole... That's like, you know, how do you know anything?
Well, yeah, but do you have... What I'm saying is, do you have some authentication thing? Certificate?
Yeah, I have a photo of the horse, and it's of extremely similar colour.
Okay.
That's good enough for me. And I've also got a section of the fence from Elvis's ranch that was sawn into 6-inch squares.
Did you just steal it? Or did
No, someone gave it to me as a gift, actually, which was very nice. So I didn't steal it. What about that, then?
Well,
it's not a great collection
I
of
can top
memorabilia.
you.
Can you go on?
Mine's rather odd, I have to say.
Okay.
I've got. A friend bought me at an auction, you know Linda Blair, who's in The Exorcist?
Oh, yeah.
A pair of her earrings. This is quite weird, though. I've never worn them. I've got no use for them, but I have got them.
That's... is she still alive?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. You never wear them? That'd be nice. Wear them for the show. Oh, they wouldn't work with headphones.
No.
They'd have to be very kind of sturdy with her head spinning around all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite good earrings.
Well, they're built like those little things you get on the fair, you know, and it spins round with kids sitting
Got
on.
little seats.
Little seats with tiny children on. So as her head spins, they go right out to the side.
Wow,
that'd be good if they had like fairy lights on. Cause then when her head spun, it'd be like, you know, when you spin a sparkler and you can sort of do it right in with it. I'll tell you what I did. I went and saw the Kinks once, and Ray Davies, and I was in the front, you know, in the mosh pit, as much as you get a mosh pit at a Kinks gig. And he handed me a bottle of light ale, and I kept that bottle of light ale for years, but I moved house so many times it got lost.
My dad came home from business. Well, get this, guys. He came home from business one time and
came
brought
home
me
from
back.
Business?
He came
is he a red boy? He came home from business. What was that?
Well, he was away on business.
Okay.
You could be away on business.
Be away
Can't
on
you come
business.
back from business?
No, I think you have to...
No, you have to be off the business. He came back off business.
He came off business, okay.
And brought us Michaela Strachan's autograph.
Right. You know, that was... The build-up to that was so good. I used to fancy Michaela Strachan like there was no tomorrow. But autographs are not so
Why
good.
does the fact that there is no tomorrow mean that you really fancy someone a lot more than usual?
Well, just imagine if there was no tomorrow. I think your amour would rise like a roaring flame. Yes, I think so.
Oh, there's a little email saying Ethan says good morning. He's listening. He's
Wow.
very advanced, isn't
That's
he?
his first words.
He
That's
is quite
really
advanced.
very
That's a bit of a what's she called? Selma Blair. What's she called?
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair. Who's Selma Blair?
She's an actress.
Thanks.
No, we had another email from Matt Williams. He says, I've listened to your great podcast for a few months now, but this is the first time I've listened to the live show via the net. I've just checked out the webcam. Emily is even sexier than I imagined. I can't believe she is single. Keep up the good
Really?
work, Frank and team. Emily, you are not only sound sexy, you are sexy. I think...
What? Is he under the impression that there's no tomorrow?
I think Matt think it might be the end. Matt thinks this might be the end of the world, although he is from Bristol, so I could see how he could think that.
Oh,
slam.
Bristol's lovely, Mr. Bournemouth. Rather too cool for school. If you do want to text in, by the way, the number is 81215, and I'd love to know what pop memorabilia you've got. Or actually any sort of celebrity memorabilia. Because some people have got really unusual... I mean, people have asked me for very unusual things.
Weird stuff.
Early in the morning in hotel rooms.
Well, I steal quite a
keep
lot
this?
of your belongings, and I'm stockpiling them and sell them on eBay.
Well, I once found someone...
Is that okay?
Yes, I don't mind
Okay,
that.
that's fine.
I once found someone going through my bag in a hotel room looking for a souvenir.
Was that an ex-girlfriend?
That was an ex-girlfriend. It was... I think that would be an exaggeration. It was someone I met brief... Oh.
Absolute Radio.
I'm doing a movie tomorrow.
Are you?
Yes. Go on, ask me about it. Do you remember when we had Ben Miller in as a guest?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's making a movie about comedy. I mean, not a documentary, a drama thing. And, well, it's probably a comedy, actually. About a double act. And there's a bit where they get drunk and disgrace themselves at the Comedy Awards, and they're carried out. So he wants this shot of all these comedians looking disapprovingly. So we're all going to Centre Point tomorrow in central London and filming this bit. I don't
So
think
you've got to look disapproving. Are you practising your look? Are you going to really ham it up?
Well, yeah, but if I do it on the radio, it's not going to be
you
that
won't be able
funny.
to-
Yeah, well, I could say from personal experience, you are very good at looking disapproving.
That is true. I think it's one of my... I think I'm slightly typecast, to be honest. But I'm quite excited to be in the film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Although I'll tell you something, Gareth,
What?
which you might not be aware
What
of.
is
Do
that?
you know that Emily has actually been in films and things?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
What films have you been in?
Oh, darling, I worked all through the 70s and 80s. No, I was a child actress.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah.
thought you said through the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I did my... Oh, Frank! Oh, my God.
That's amazing. So what were you in?
I was in... Okay, so... Films. I was in a film called Memoirs of a Survivor with Julie Christie, and I played a kind of feral child.
Yeah.
Shut up, Frank.
It's all right.
And the big thing I did a BBC series called Day of the Triffids. which
Oh, I
was
remember that.
Yeah, I was in that. And I've got Triffid in my bathroom. But I had to stop doing it because I was getting a bit spoiled, I think. I was offered a film. I only found out recently. I auditioned for a film and did a big screen test. And my mum said, "Oh, you didn't get it, darling." And I cried and cried.
Oh.
And I found out a year ago that I did get it. And it was The French Lieutenant's Woman with Meryl Streep.
So
And
hold
Jim-
on. So your mum knew you'd got it,
But
and
she told me I didn't. But to be fair to her... No, but she was worried that I'd become spoiled. And I
Yeah,
said to her...
she was. She's an actress, your mum, isn't she?
Yeah.
There wasn't a hint of bitter jealousy. in it.
No.
Oh, God, it's like whatever happened to Baby Jane. No, darling, you didn't get the film part.
No, Frank, I'd really like to take this opportunity to say she was genuinely worried that I'd be going to Hollywood and...
Yeah, that would be horrible.
No, but I did say to
Poor
her...
you.
Yeah, but I'd end up like Michael Jackson. I did say to her... I said, "You're worried I'd be spoilt, but now I'm just spoilt without the money."
Yeah, that's true.
Meryl
What would you have been in The French Lieutenant's Woman?
Streep's daughter. I met her, did a screen test with
It's
her.
a big part.
I know!
Wow.
The closest you got was Linda Blair's earrings. Linda Blair's earrings would be a great title for a band, I think. Do you think?
It would, wouldn't it?
By the way, if you've got any celebrity memorabilia, do text us on... I can't read the number from here, but... here it is, 81215. It's very professional this morning.
Also, everyone, we're on Twitter.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, we're on Twitter. So you can search for it. It's Frank on Absolute is the name, and you can search for Frank Skinner as well. But we're on Twitter, so we're live, and we're gonna... I've done one very boring Twitter so far.
Have you?
It says we're live on the radio.
I'm going to make you
Right,
tweet,
We need
Frank.
to do better than that.
I'm not sure about the Twitter thing generally, but I'm going to try and get into it for the benefit of the show. God, I ought to do something for the benefit of the show this morning.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth. We're asking people what sort of celebrity memorabilia they've got. I've got hair from Elvis's horse. Emily's got a Triffid from when she was in Day of the Triffids on the telly. What have you got? Have you got anything, Gareth? You've got some stuff of mine.
I had Michaela Strachan's autograph.
Michaela Strachan's autograph, which I think we'll agree is in third position at the moment. Okay, what?
When someone says I caught Isaac Hayes' drummer's drumstick, could have had my eye out. Don't know who that's from. Morning, Frank. I have a Fender guitar signed by Ian Gillan of Deep Purple.
That's quite good, isn't
And
it?
guess what? I won it on Leona's show on Absolute Radio a few weeks ago. So he won that.
So he's just crowing. He's a crowing
it's
competition
just
winner.
boasting.
Yeah.
There's a man here who's got Anthony Worrell Thompson's blender, which I quite like. He says it's not noticeably better than a normal blender, but it's quite good.
But when he says this isn't just something you can buy. It's not like a bloke phone that says I've got George Foreman's grilling machine.
No, he says that he went to Henley and Anthony Worrell Thompson was having a garage sale outside his house.
What?
Yeah.
And sold it to him. Is he in reduced circumstances? I thought things were going quite well for Anthony Worrell Thompson.
I like your manager laughing very loudly at that.
Yeah,
I do someone being in reduced circumstances.
Any other celebrity struggling with their career is one of his favourite gags. Why would Anthony Worrell Thompson be having a garage sale?
Because, okay.
If you need a velvet jacket, though, that's the place to get off to, isn't it?
There is a reason behind it, but I'm no clearer having read it.
I think
it says to maximise exposure to the passing footfall.
I think
that's a good line. I
think
that.
He's suggesting that he wanted attention.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wanted to let people know he lived there. But actually, he's doing quite well because he lives in Henley.
Yeah.
Look, everyone, I live here. Would you like to buy a blender?
It's quite a good thing if you're going to buy anything of Anthony Worrell Thompson's. It's nice to know that I'm not overly impressed by your the cooking thing.
I wouldn't want all his old leftovers. Oh.
Well, no, but at least it's been handled by an expert, if you know what I mean. It's like when I went out with one of Rod Stewart's exes.
Absolute Radio.
We've got the Duckworth Lewis Method in today, which is Neil Hannon and Thomas Welsh, and they've got. Walsh, sorry.
I was called Welsh as a kid.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thomas Walsh, and they've got a new album. It's out. Is it out now? The album?
It's not out yet. It's the 6th of July,
and it's called The Age of Revolution.
No,
it's
called.
Oh God, I'm messing. This is the least.
Called the Duckworth Lewis Method.
All over the place.
The single is The Age of Revolution, and it's out tomorrow.
Yes, it's
digitally.
So what's the album called? If you walk into a shop,
Lewis Method.
Okay. And
the Duckworth Lewis Method.
So it's one of those eponymous.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Whenever I say it, it sounds like kind of a rap or something. It's the Duckworth Lewis Method.
Yeah. In case anyone doesn't
try it.
In case anyone doesn't know, I'll let you explain what the Duckworth Lewis Method is, Neil, but not in too much detail.
Duckworth Lewis Method is when one team has a bunch of runs, the second team doesn't have as many deliveries in which to get said runs because of some delay, and so they have to they have to lower the amount in a mathematical way so that they can get some sort of result. Is that enough?
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy with that.
Is it like the offside rule or something?
It's basically
much more complicated.
If it rains,
okay,
you need to try and make the. Oh, anyway,
okay.
it's a cricket thing. So. The cricket, is it come from a genuine love of cricket, or did you just think it'd be a novel thing to write
Did
about?
you get on the cricket bandwagon just to be cool?
Yeah, exactly. We both absolutely adore cricket, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not an aficionado, I'm not a statistician. That's quite hard at this time of the morning.
I'm not saying
but, love the game. Can't think of anything better than to sit down for 5 days and watch a game that might not have a result.
Yes, I agree with that.
Just to annoy the Americans.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people have pointed this out, but I don't normally associate Irish people with cricket. Are you seeing
racist?
Well, am I being racist? Well, that's today's phone-in. Was that racist or not?
Why is there no complimentary Guinness in reception?
I don't think there are enough phone-ins on commercial radio with the word racist.
Sorry, I've been reading Clinton Letts. No.
Clinton Letts off steam.
Basically, no. The Irish have a tough time with cricket, and in fact, it was what brought us together. We were in a car, and
surely being in a car brought you together.
It did bring us together, in a physical sense.
Yes.
But then they actually started talking about the cricket scores on the radio, on Irish radio, which is so rare. I went, turn it up, and I said, you won't care about this, but then Thomas said,
You were being
I
racist.
love cricket, and we had two things in common.
Had you known each other for a while at that point?
No,
Not that
very
long. I asked
no.
Neil to sing on a charity song I did in Ireland.
Okay. Oh,
Of
God, one
course.
of those phone calls, one of those charity
No,
phone
it
calls.
was-
You think, oh, no.
I doorstopped him with an email.
Did you
Email
think
stopped him.
about pulling out at the last minute or saying no, Neil?
But the problem was it was a really good song.
Oh, okay.
Tinsel and Marzipan, great Christmas song.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it will become massive one day.
Like myself.
I wish I could play that now, but we don't have that. I have to say. So that's the moment. See, I find even living in England, if you say you're big on cricket, people look at you like you're a bit strange. So, although Samuel Beckett was into cricket, wasn't he? One of the great
You know
Irish.
what? There's been massive amounts of cricket fans in Ireland over the years.
They're all coming out of the
it's-
cupboard now, aren't they? Out of the pavilion.
yeah, out of the wardrobe, out of various places.
Well, there's a great story about Samuel Beckett went to Lord's with a mate of his. In case you don't know who Samuel Beckett is, he wrote quite bleak plays. And the bloke said to him, here we are, we've got tickets for Lord's, it's a sunny day, it makes you glad to be alive, doesn't it? And Samuel Beckett said, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. Great company. Well,
I think cricket would have a lot in common with Beckett plays, really. It's just sort of strange and slightly pointless, but
And lots
it's
of
a
silences.
beautiful world,
Yeah.
a kind of a weird other place with anachronistic terminology.
And very,
what could be better?
Can I say you're the first person ever to say anachronistic terminology on Absolute Radio? I'd like to
Yay!
congratulate you for that.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
That was The Eighth Revolution by Duckworth Lewis Method, who's sit before me as I speak. I don't think we've ever had a music guest on before and actually played their record. It's slightly an unnerving experience.
We're proud.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like that,
Break
though.
the myth.
The only unnerving experience is whistling along to your own record and feeling slightly soiled. I don't know why.
But that's that riff is so catchy. It gets under your skin like that
Like
flesh-eating
blood.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
What a-
cricket musical DNA.
No, but it's. I love it. I love the whole.
Thanks.
I wasn't. I'll be honest with you. I was wary when I heard it was about. As much as I love
Most
cricket, I
people are.
don't know if these
Eddie
two
Waring?
things will mix.
Where?
I was Eddie Waring, yes. But I looked up and under, and it was.
Oh, do more.
Oh, do your Elvis Costello, I was told by the guitar player.
I think
Have you seen it?
He said it to me. I thought, no.
Don't start.
Don't stop me,
Anyway.
Thanks, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've asked people to call in if they've got any celebrity memorabilia, and as you two mix with celebrities on a regular basis, I wondered if you've ever stolen anything, basically.
I have absolutely nothing. I'm just not a collector of anything. In fact, I usually lose all my cool stuff. Whereas Thomas,
I have an acetate of Freddie Lennon's single, John Lennon's father, called It's My Life.
Wow,
Yeah, one-sided pie acetate. That's nice. I've also got ELO's first album signed by Jeff, Roy and Bev
yeah.
from Heavy Head Records in 1971.
So yours is mainly muso stuff.
I'm complete not the ELO, Jeff Lynn, Roy Wood, nuts.
You
As
don't have
Frank will
Anthony
attest
Worrell
to.
Thompson's blender.
Anthony Warren Thompson's blender makes me shudder. No,
Yeah.
actually,
well, it
I
would do if you were, if you were in it.
If I ingested it, it would make me shudder.
Yes. I don't think you should can I just say, if there's any children listening, don't
not
ingest
possible.
Anthony Worrell Thompson's blender.
We've
I
had
think-
an email in for Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
It says, "Hi Frank, is that Thomas Walsh from Pugwash and the XTC forum? Earl from Slough, XTC fan."
Earl, thank you for making me seem famous.
Well, it is that Thomas
It
Walsh.
is me, yes.
Yeah.
When they say from Pugwash, they don't mean he was in the cartoon.
Even though I look like him.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to say that, Thomas,
Walk like
not for
this
1
at the
second.
door.
Yeah, it's radio.
Jim, all the impressions are coming out today. Yeah.
Well,
So
thank you, Earl, from Slough.
Yes, you see, Thomas, you think Neil's the famous one. But turns out today we haven't had one email about Neil. It's been Thomas, over and over.
Who am I?
So,
You're Lewis.
are you? Is it a relief, Neil, not to be a massive sort of get screamed at type pop star for a change?
Well, I really wasn't in the first place. But
You weren't you?
Yeah,
one
I think
didn't
you
the
were.
girls?
Was I?
I think
Was
the
I?
girls. I think the girls used to quite like you.
Girls love
Yes, they did.
yeah, but they always threw the wrong things at me. It was always like, long sort of
novels.
three-page sort of A4 essays of letters, quoting various intellectual writers, whereas just knickers would have done me fine.
You see, that's the trouble with the whole intellectual angle.
Yeah.
I've seen Russell Brand. He's managed to balance it perfectly. He uses the odd big word.
He really does, doesn't he? He fancies himself as a bit of an intellect, doesn't he?
He wears his brain on his sleeve.
He fancies himself too. Can I
Yes.
say that?
I think
I
he's
can
the
say
new Neil Hannon in that respect. He's the kind of one... Girls who kind of are doing A-level English, I think they look for an intellectual, hero.
Here I am.
There you are, so that's the next phone in. Just call in for Neil, he's available.
No, he's not, actually.
Absolute Radio.
So you two are at the... not you two. It's not... If anyone's thinking, oh, God, he's got you two.
The edge could turn up.
You're at the Oval this afternoon
Yeah.
in South East London.
Very kindly. Surrey Middlesex, is it? 2020 match, and they asked us just to come along and play a couple of 20-minute sets, before the game kicks off for the good folks coming in. So I don't know whether we'll just sort of be standing there with a couple of guitars and a begging bowl at the entrance, or whether we have some kind of a stage. But
that's just the busk, to
Yeah.
promote the Oval record, and it's nice of them at the Oval. They're lovely people at the Oval.
Yes.
And it's the Brit Oval for other reasons. We thought it was British team. We didn't even know.
No, it's
No,
I think that's
actually,
an
I knew it was
insurance
the
cop. I
Brit-
don't allowed to mention them.
Well,
'cause-
no, I didn't mention it, by the way.
Okay, yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Just take that back.
Yeah, so you're down. So someone who wants, even who's not interested in cricket, but interested in music, be worth going this afternoon, wouldn't it, to see you guys?
absolutely, and then watch the 2020 and think, oh my God, this is the greatest game invented.
Yeah. So will you be playing tracks from the new album?
Yeah.
Age of Revolution first, actually.
It's interesting that, because when I heard it, it sounds like the kind of thing that would be quite difficult to do live. You'd need an orchestra and all that.
I play the riff on the piano in a
Neil's
jaunty
very
kind
adept.
of bar room style.
Yeah.
So you're busking with a piano.
Yeah, we're doing gentleman players as well.
It's not very busky. But,
Right, okay.
Yeah, sorry. And an electric guitar.
Right.
Would you give money
It's
to
a
a busker
gig.
if they
It's
had
a
a
gig.
grand piano on the street, Frank? If they had a grand piano on the street busking, would you give money?
It's not a real piano. It's
Okay.
electronic devices.
Now, I don't... normally on the radio, I don't dedicate songs to
Go
people.
on,
but,
you want to.
Yeah, well, my girlfriend was so... I think Kate Bush kind of changed my girlfriend's life. So we're going to, in a minute, we're going to play Kate Bush, and I want to dedicate it to Kath, who is the great love of my life.
Great.
Do you
My
like...
great love of my life is also Kath.
Right? And does she
Hopefully
like...
not
Does
the
she like...
same
It'd be a great place to find out on the radio.
Where was she the other day?
She keeps going around the house going... So what do you think about Kate Bush from a musician's point of view?
I adore Kate Bush.
I'm
Funnily enough,
single.
so
Oh,
does
sorry.
Kathy. Yeah.
Yeah, does she really? Yeah. All the Cathys love Kate Bush.
She wrote her best songs when she was 14, 15. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I would say 25-ish. Hounds of Love is just an amazing record.
Well, and on that debate, we're going to have to go. So thanks very much to the Duckworth Lewis Method. Go out, see him at the Oval, buy the album. Goodbye from Emily, goodbye from Gareth, and goodbye from Frank Skinner. We'll see you next week. This is Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.